Hello everyone, I am James Milan. This is the Town Hall Update. I am joined as always by our Town Manager, Jim Feeney, who has once again trekked all the way to the ACMi studio for this update. Thanks for being here, Jim.
Thanks for having me.
As ever. Lots of things, as always, to talk about. We are going to cover the Phase 2 opening of the humanities wing of the high school, another milestone in that huge project. We've got Veterans Day activities coming up on November 11th to talk about, a new Veterans Services Director, very topical, along with a new Town Council, continuing this, kind of not shuffling so much, but filling of the positions that are important in town. We've got 3 updates from the Parks and Rec Commission about renovations in 3 different parks. I think it's Parallel Park, Menotomy Rocks Park, and Hills Hill. And then we'll hear about an Adopt a Drain program and a recent award that the town's finance team received. Let's start with the special election, which occurred just recently. There were 2 questions. I'll just set it up quickly. Question 1 asked whether the town can assess an additional $7 million of real estate and personal property taxes, this beginning in fiscal year 2025, right? So next July, July of 2024, we'll begin that, and that all in order to fund the budgets of the town and the schools. Also, this is known very commonly for people as an override. And then question 2 involved giving the town authorization to establish, as you know, a means-tested senior citizen property tax exemption. So both questions passed and quite handily. Wanted to get your reaction to them.
Sure, and thank you for the recap of what the questions were. I think what I would say is I am extremely grateful to the community and both the voters and taxpayers for their continued support, but also investment in the future of their local government and their amazing public school system. So, we appreciate folks turning out and casting their ballots. I know I personally am grateful, and I want to say thank you on behalf of the town and all of its employees for this continued support. We will continue to work as hard as possible to deliver the high level of services that folks have come to enjoy and appreciate, and certainly in my role in developing the town's budget, we'll make sure that we strictly comply with the commitments that we made for how we're going to structure the budget and grow it over years and make sure that we're within those caps that we have published. And then, of course, it's always good to see the overwhelming level of support for those in the Arlington community who may need financial help in the form of tax relief, so that, what amounts to a senior circuit tax breaker. Mm-hmm. The question number 2 obviously passed overwhelmingly, and, in the face of an operating tax override, that is something that, couples nicely with that, and it's great to see that the Arlington voters supported those who may need assistance or relief in the years to come.
Yeah, and I got to look at the numbers in the vote, and it's as you say, there was overwhelming support for both of the questions, particularly question 2. So that is great to know that we're living in that kind of community.
Right.
All right, let's talk about the Phase 2 opening of this, again, the massive project that we are all watching unfold day to day, week to week, month to month, over years, with a new high school going into operation in town. Tell us about Phase 2.
Sure. So after obviously receiving the good news about the election results on late Tuesday night, that rolled into an early morning sort of unveiling ceremony at the new Arlington High School, where we opened Phase 2, which we call the Humanities Wing, which houses 44 classrooms, but also a 2-story library and 600-seat cafeteria. And what a remarkable portion of the building. For those folks who have been in there, are familiar with coming in the front door and then being in the lobby and then having to go either, sort of right or left. But the hallmark design of this building is having this sort of central spine that connects all of the different wings, but is really activating the space. And now you have this just magnificent and overwhelming experience when you can come in the front and you have access to that portion of the building, and you overlook the cafeteria, and there's just this, it's a really outstanding design in watching the students get to enjoy it and hang out in the various spaces for the first time was really quite moving. So that was a wonderful event. The high school chorus and band were on hand to help celebrate. And I just would be remiss if I didn't offer my kudos to our project partners, being Consigli Construction and Skanska, our owner's project management firm, but also to the Arlington High School Building Committee and its various subcommittees that have taken on different portions of the project and have not only helped to deliver the exceptional project we have to enjoy today, but also to keep it on track and on budget, which is really remarkable with a project of this magnitude during such sort of uncertain economic times, and having started this during the pandemic. It's really quite an accomplishment for the community, and I do know that there will be an open house with tours in the months to come, and I really do hope that everyone takes an opportunity to come in and see this building, and it's truly marvelous.
Yeah, I think that new entrance to the high school, I think majestic is not an overstatement in terms of describing what that feels like. So people should take advantage of the open house and tour possibilities once those are available. I'm sure that they will. So moving on, as we tape this town hall update, we're looking right into the Veterans Day weekend coming up here. So tell us about that and the new Veteran Services Director.
Yeah, quite timely and topical, as you said earlier. So on November 11th, Saturday at 10:30 a.m., we will be kicking off our annual Veterans Day ceremony with a light procession from the Walgreens parking lot in East Arlington to the Central Fire Station located at the intersection of Broadway and Mass Ave at 411 Mass Ave is the address. So that is our annual ceremony. It'll kick off at 11 a.m. We look forward to hearing remarks from Select Board Chair Eric Helmuth, as well as our local legislative delegation, including Senator Friedman and Representatives Garbely and Rogers, and is the chair of our Veterans Council, Bill Hayner, as well. But we will have a special guest and hopefully a new face, but a face for many years to come. As you alluded to, we have hired a new Veteran Services Director. It's Colonel Philip McGovern. So he started working for the town this week. He has really a distinguished both legal and military career. But some of the highlights: he is an Army combat veteran and Purple Heart recipient who has completed tours of duty in both Iraq and Afghanistan. But more recently, as he rose through the ranks, reaching the rank of colonel, has held advisory roles down at the Pentagon, at the State House, and at the United States Southern Command. So really a remarkable military career, and Phil will be on hand at Saturday's ceremony, so hopefully folks can come meet Philip, get to know him, and welcome him to his new role as Arlington's Veteran Services Director. I will note that he's a particularly good fit for the role. Much of his legal work prior to some of his time in the military was geared towards counseling individuals with respect to public rights and benefits. And frankly, that is a great fit for this position as you're trying to marry up Arlington residents with the various benefits available to them, whether they be through the Veterans Affairs system at the federal level or what we know is Chapter 115 veterans benefits at the state and local level. So ensuring that our veterans living here in Arlington are getting absolutely everything that they deserve.
Yeah, I have to say, many people might have, had a little trepidation about following Jeff Chunglo, the previous Veteran Service Director, who did just a wonderful job. But my goodness, you guys hit a home run, a total home run. Congratulations.
We sure did. Thank you. And I appreciate you calling out our prior Veteran Services Director, Jeff Chunglo, because since his retirement earlier this year, and though he has moved out of state, in this absence of having a Veteran Service Director, he made it so we wouldn't miss a beat. He was still involved regularly and almost daily to make sure that we met the commitments. And he didn't do that alone. You know, certainly the chair of the Veterans Council, Bill Hayner, assisted as necessary, but I gotta give special thanks to Laura Munzie from the town's Health and Human Services Department, under which Veteran Services lives. She was sort of that on-site face in contact, making sure that Arlington's veterans were able to reach someone when they needed to reach someone, and that they were getting their benefits and their checks in a timely manner. So I especially like to thank those three individuals for making sure that we didn't miss a beat and that we were still able to deliver on the services that we're committed to providing to all of Arlington's veterans.
Yeah, it's worth pointing out the work that they did, because leaving any position open in local government is probably pretty difficult for any length of time, and particularly such a pivotal one as this, where you are providing direct services to people who really deserve them, really need them, and can't really wait for a process to play out in that way. So, most excellent. Welcome, Colonel McGovern. Okay, we have a second welcome. We also have a new town council. Tell us about that hire.
Yeah, thank you, James. So last night I had the honor and privilege of introducing Michael Cunningham at the select board meeting as Arlington's next town council. Michael has been an attorney for over 20 years, but more recently, I think actually today is his 3-year anniversary. He has worked for the town as our deputy town council and workers' compensation agent. So he's been pivotal over the last 3 years in delivering benefits to employees, but also as our deputy town council was intimately involved with all forms of litigation, of which there is a lot in the town that happens behind the scenes. But during that time, he certainly demonstrated a passion for local government and the processes that we have. He really enjoys the town meeting process and the development of warrant articles. He has been instrumental in helping a number of boards, committees, and commissions, including the Board of Health during the height of the COVID pandemic as we navigated novel legal waters, and the Rainbow Commission and others as we sort of explored things that there may not have been much precedent for in advancing different warrant articles before town meetings. So he has performed admirably in the role of acting town council since Doug Heim departed the role, and I'm just so glad that Mike was willing and interested in stepping up to sort of take the leap to this next role, which certainly has a significant level of importance in the community, but also is a very significant time commitment with all of the night meetings and various engagements of when the town does its business. You really need to be available around the clock, and Mike is incredibly excited to do that for the town.
Excellent. We have a few recreation projects to talk about, updates basically to various parks that I mentioned at the beginning. So can you tell us about that?
Sure. You know, it seems our Park and Recreation Commission and our Recreation Director, Joe Connolly, are always hard at work looking to improve Arlington's various recreational assets. So the three upcoming projects that I wanted to talk about today are the Hills Hill mountain biking area, located over at Hills Hill on Summer Street, which is proximal to the Ed Burns Arena, the skating rink as we know it. So that project received approximately $400,000 in Community Preservation Act funding that was approved at town meeting this past spring. The Park and Recreation Commission have hired a design consultant, a firm fairly well known in town, Weston and Sampson, who are going to be guiding us as our consultant through this design process. And we will be holding our first virtual design input kickoff meeting on November 15th at 6 p.m. Details are available on the town's website. This is obviously a new, interesting, and exciting type of recreational amenity. It's not something we have in town on a sort of formal basis, and I know there is a lot of excitement around this project. So, we invite people to engage in that process and help ensure that we deliver a project that meets all of the various needs of different stakeholders.
Great. We're going to move on now, and it seems perfect because we happen to be speaking on a November day that's a typical November day around here, cold, rainy, stormy, etc. So let's talk about adopting a drain.
Yeah, it is adoption season, right? So as it relates to stormwater condition and stormwater improvement, the town is so very lucky to have partnership with the Mystic River Watershed Association, who is working with all municipalities that fall within the Mystic River watershed area to embark on this Adopt a Catch Basin program that involves this really clever interactive tool that is GIS based, and it now lives on the town's website, but you can go see a map of the storm drains or catch basins in your neighborhood. You can formally adopt them, you create a username, you can rename them, it's some fun, and you can go around the various neighborhoods to see which may already be claimed and which may still need assistance. And as part of that website, you get a lot of educational tools to learn about the importance of not only keeping those catch basins from being blocked, but also what purpose they serve and how keeping certain elements out of them protect our surface water bodies. And, so it's something that we rely greatly on from the community with their assistance in, but especially this time of year when as you described, today's weather conditions there's a lot of leaves on the ground and they're falling in a hurry, and they quickly get carried to the catch basins. And if they obstruct those grates, it doesn't take long to experience pretty severe localized flooding, and that can, happen in a heartbeat. We can sweep a street 1 week, and then a significant number of leaves fall the next week, and we're not able to obviously sweep every street every week. So we do rely on resident assistance with keeping, the thousands of catch basins clear when possible, because it does have not only a local impact, but a larger environmental impact on our water bodies. So, I thank the Mystic River Watershed Association for their development of this tool, and I invite the public to adopt a catch basin in their neighborhood.
Good point about the leaves too. Absolutely, you're right. They work so well to clog things up, don't they? Okay, last thing is I had mentioned that the town has received an award, specifically the finance team for the town has received what I read the press release. It's a significant award. This one's, particularly impressive in a lot of ways.
It is. So, we are a member of the Government Finance Officers Association. So that is a national organization that represents all forms and levels of government across the country. So, not only are we proud to be a part of that organization, but we're especially proud that for fiscal year 22, we've received a Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting for the town's annual comprehensive financial report, which we call the ACFR, sort of a strange acronym, but, it's something that I think we have come to expect as a community. We have really strong financial practices and controls in place, but we also put a great deal of effort into how we present our financial information, how we try to make it easily readable, digestible, and as transparent as possible. So, kudos to our finance team and especially our comptroller, Ida Cody, for consistently compiling and presenting award-winning budget information.
Yeah, and I noticed that the organization, that gave that award did make specific note of the transparent, the clear commitment to transparency, which, as we've mentioned before, and I've talked with, previous town managers and other officials for years, transparency in this town, extremely, extremely important. And you guys are held to account by a vigilant citizenry around that. So
Indeed.
Good news on that front as well.
Sure. And I think, I apologize, I failed to mention when we were talking about the recreation projects that the Recreation Department does have 2 surveys available for public consumption. They can be found at arlingtonma.gov/projects. The surveys will be available until November 24th. And what we're looking for, or we're essentially soliciting feedback on design proposals for 2 upcoming playground projects that are in the design phase, and that is for work planned at the Menotomy Rocks Park play and picnic area, and also the Parallel Park playground at the intersection of Medford and Parallel Streets. So please check out the website, check out the design materials, offer feedback. We welcome and appreciate it.
All right, you closed that loop well, and any other loops need closing before we sign off?
I think that's it. Thank you.
Well done. I have been speaking, of course, he is our town manager, Jim Feeney. We appreciate his time coming on in, as always. We appreciate yours as well. This has been the Town Hall Update. I'm James Milan, and we will see you next time.